Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our story today is dealing with Joe Biden's mishandling of the economy, specifically inflation, and there's no signs of it stopping. You don't have to look any further than you go into the grocery store or the gas pump to see the results of the Democrats electing a non-sentient human being into office because they couldn't handle a few mean tweets every now and then from former President Donald Trump. This one comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire. If you're not already a member, hey, go over and become a subscriber today, and make sure to help us out here at the Bald Brad Show by hitting that like and subscribe button, sharing this video all over your social media with your friends and family. And with that being said, they title this one, Consumers Absorb Inflation as Retail Sales Increase. The article starts off saying retail sales are increasing, signaling that consumers are willing to absorb inflation as the economy continues to recover. Well, let's pump the brakes for a second, folks, because we are consistently told by the Democrats, we are always told by the left, that this type of stuff doesn't get passed down to the consumer, meaning when the prices of goods and services increase, that the businesses themselves are the ones that are going to absorb these costs, and at no point does it trickle down to the consumer, which obviously they're lying to you, folks. Usually we see this type of conversation when the federal government or the state government tries to artificially inflate wages through a minimum wage hike, like we're seeing the Biden administration trying to do right now by increasing the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage to be specific, from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour, virtually doubling it. And just saying, well, businesses can absorb these types of costs. But do you think the Biden administration, do you think Democrats and the left have any clue on how businesses function and work? You don't look any further than their handling of certain states like California, Seattle, New York, and look at those dumpster fires and the way that they're handling the federal government at this moment. Do you really think that they know how to handle business? And to give you a prime example of how this stuff works, if a business is for profit, they want to maximize their profit, whether they're adhering to their investors or their shareholders, and say they have a profit maximization, I'm just going to throw out a random number of 5%. Well, inflation tends to be 2 to 3%. So on year, the purchasing power of the consumer or the American dollar is not going to be as much valuable or have as much power as it did from the year before. So to increase and maximize your profits when you're artificially increasing something, and we'll use the example of labor here. Well, previously it was 5%. Now it just went down to 1%. How are you going to increase your profit maximization? Because you want to either make more money, stay the same. At no point do you want to make less money because you're adhering to, again, your investors, your shareholders, or you as an individual business owner want to increase your profits. So that has to get passed down somewhere to increase your capital. It has to increase if you're going to get more labor. It has to increase if you're going to invest in more R&D, or if you want to increase your sales or revenue. Where's it going to get passed down to? It has to get passed down to the consumer. Those that are buying your product, those that are buying your service, that's who it has to get passed down to. So you meet that quota of your profit maximization of, say, 5%. So you have to have some sort of increase. You can't always absorb these types of costs. But what does the Biden administration want to do? They want to sit there and continually ruin the economy, sit there and have inflation continually to rise. They want to shut down another pipeline so gas prices go through the roof. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's some gas stations in California where people are paying $8 a gallon. The average gas price like a week ago, I think, was like $4.25 or $4.26 in California. And again, some areas are $8 per gallon. And the Biden administration wants to shut down another pipeline. So do you think it's going to get worse? Or do you think it's going to get better, folks? It's only going to get worse the longer this guy's in freaking office. On Tuesday, United States Census Bureau announced that the American retail and food services sales rose by 1.7% between September and October. Between August and September, sales rose by 15.4% from the same period in 2020. Well, the New York Times reported this. Retail sales jumped in October for the third straight month, the government said on Tuesday, as Walmart and Home Depot both reported strong results for their latest quarters. The reports bolstered the view that consumers are absorbing higher prices and splurging on a range of goods from electronics to home improvement projects. And there could be a range of reasons for this. Remember, the economy was shut down, which resulted in a lot of people not going out and splurging on goods and services. Things are kind of luxury items like electronics, like these home goods that they're looking for their friends or their family members for the holiday seasons. And so there could be a reason why the consumer is now willing to spend more money, because they've been saving up for the last year and a half because the government kept everything shut down. That's just one of many reasons on why the consumer might be willing to go out and absorb these types of costs. Well, the Wall Street Journal added that although improved sales are a positive sign as consumers begin holiday shopping, higher price levels are a driver for the sales increase. It says here, the combination of strong demand, Snarled supply chains, higher prices, and unbalanced labor market is making for an unusual holiday season where record sales may be accompanied by shortages and long waits for goods. Inflation may also start to cut into demand for consumers with lower incomes who may put off purchases due to price increases, economists say. And so that's what I mean. It's not just one reason for inflation. It's not just one reason for these sales being increased, meaning these companies having this inflated sales. There's many reasons. Again, supply chain, strong demand, higher prices, and unbalanced labor markets. But some of those are a result of the Biden administration, meaning the supply chains, the ports, things shut down. You're keeping the economy shut down. You got a lot of people not going back to work because the economy was shut down. There's many reasons for this. And I don't want to just pinpoint one reason. But again, the whole focus of this is to show that inflation is having a dramatic effect on the American economy. And who's it getting passed down to? It's getting passed down to the consumer. And this just isn't coming from me as an accountant. This is also coming from CEOs of these major corporations. Indeed, many American companies have successfully passed inflation costs onto consumers by hiking retail prices. The Daily Wire reported on Tuesday that Tyson Foods, the second largest meat and poultry producer in the United States, witnessed improved margins in their most recent quarter by hiking prices. Here's a quote: "The inflation we incur needs to be passed on," explained Chief Financial Officer of the Tyson Foods. "Some of the inflation for us has been substantial." Referring to input costs, Tyson CEO Donnie King noted that he could not think of a single thing that has either stayed the same or has gone down, talking about the prices of goods and services. Despite inflationary pressures, Biden administration officials have argued that the pending 1.75 I just can't almost say it. $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act, which did get passed, he finally signed it, would help Americans cope with higher prices. Yes, think about this. A Build Back Better package that's supposed to put through. How the hell would inflation package you building back railways, roads, all those types of services? Why would that help you deal with higher prices? It's a social spending package. That's what it is. And they don't want to call it what it is. They're talking about this bullshit Build Back Better Act. And forgive my speech, but that's what it is. And it's so frustrating because I'm so tired of these politicians, left, right, and center, constantly lying to the American public about this stuff. We're $28 trillion in debt, and we're going to go spend almost another $2. And by the way, there's interest on that, folks. So you're really looking at more of $4 to $5 trillion, but we don't want to talk about that because remember, it's not going to cost you a penny, according to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, Ilhan Omar, and all these other people that are gone far left and gone totally wacko and off the rails. And just on a whole side note, since I'm ranting right now, there's rumors that Nancy Pelosi is going to retire soon. God, please help that happen sooner. And forgive me, she is from my home state of California, so I know there's other people from other states that have to deal with her shenanigans. But guess where she's supposedly trying to retire to? Guess which state? Do you think it's California, folks? You think it's Oregon? Do you think it's Washington or New York? New Hampshire, right? These leftist conglomerate states? No. It's Florida, folks. Rumor is she's trying to retire to Florida. Okay? Where Florida's gone red. You got Ron DeSantis over there killing it. But, she doesn't want to shit and sleep in her own bed. Well, Brian Dees, who directs the National Economics Council, told ABC and anchor George Stephanopoulos over the weekend that this bill is actually going to address the core costs that American families are facing in childcare and housing and healthcare. Again, it's a social welfare program, right? It's social spending. It's not infrastructure, folks. It's not your roads, not your railways, which Biden came out and said, "Oh, we're gonna modernize the roads." You mean you're just gonna repave them, you idiot? That's all you're doing. You're not gonna modernize anything. What the hell does that even mean? I'm gonna modernize the roads. Stephanopoulos went on to ask Brian Dees this: "I know you're hoping to pass it, but even if it does pass, it's going to take a while for the benefits to kick in. So what can Americans expect in short term? Is inflation going to get worse before it gets better?" Well, this is what Brian Dees had to say. Let's see if he actually answers the question. "We have to finish the job on COVID. We know that the more that people feel comfortable getting out into the economy, going to the movies rather than buying television at home, working in the workplace, the more we can return a sense of normalcy to our economy." Meaning he didn't answer the damn question. The question was, look, is inflation going to get worse? Is it going to get better? What do you expect? How are things going to swing? And he completely dodged the question because we all know the direction the economy's heading. We all know that inflation's going to increase. There is rumors and talks out there that it can get upwards of 10%. 10%. But remember, Biden has everything under control. Everybody has everything under control. Things are going the right direction here for our great nation. An analysis from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget notes that the true cost of the Build Back Better Act may be $4.9 trillion due to a number of arbitrary sunsets and expirations currently written into the bill. This is a massive bill. Nobody knows what the hell's in this thing. All we know that it's going to be freaking social spending up the wazoo, money we don't have because we're $28 trillion in debt, and you have a non-sentient human being that was elected by Democrats because they had their feelings hurt by Donald Trump because he told it like it is. And when you're coddled your entire life, you can't handle it and you get all emotional, and then you get all this problems going on up in your head and you can't deal with it. So then you hire somebody that doesn't have anything going on in their damn head. And this is what happens with their economy. You sit there with inflation, and then you and I get to go to the gas pump. You and I get to go to Walmart or Home Goods or the gas pump, wherever it is, and pay more for goods and services than what we had to pay just 11 or 12 months ago, folks. So I hope you're all happy, Democrats, because you got your way. Now we don't have to hear you complain for the next 4 years. Now we just have to sit there and pay through the roof for these goods and services in which we shouldn't have to pay through the roof for because they were cheaper 4 years under one of the greatest presidents in human history, Donald J. Trump. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for watching The Bald Brad Show. Hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll be sure to sit here and do more episodes and keep on track with all of you on what is going on with the news. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you later here on The Bald Brad Show.